Spinning. And we are live according to StreamYard, Mr. Paul.
Yep. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for
Welcome.
joining us.
Hey, I can see myself.
Good. And you're moving and your audio's good. And we have some good people some great people in the chat. I should qualify that, not good.
I can only see myself on the computer.
All right. Well, we have Mark in the chat. Hello, Mark. We have Scott.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Scott.
And they're going back and forth about gas cans and gas gauges. Oh, Mark.
Corn Junkie was in here.
Yeah. He's a Canadian, so he might, who knows?
All right.
And
Marty is nuts. There's Charlie. Howdy, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
Now I'm nervous. Charlie's the brainiac. Charlie's the brainiac. He knows.
Charlie is the storyteller extraordinaire. He's the high bar. I'm the low-hanging fruit when I do my stories. I was watching which one was I watching? Gosh. Oh, about the Spanish Reals. I watched that one again, Charlie. And you added your minutia minute in the video. Dun 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 dun.
Dun, dun. Charlie, we miss you, buddy.
I know.
We'll have to get Charlie on with us one evening. Would you be up for that, Charlie?
Or you and Paul can do it and I'll bow out.
No.
Maybe we can have Paul tells a story, I tell a story, Charlie tells a story. A triangle. A triad.
That'll work.
A triad of numismatic knowledge. See, now back in the day, Charlie, I assume, used OBS. But with all this StreamYard, Charlie, I think you'd find it's sharing videos, having other tabs open with other media that you can just click and it goes on there. And
tripod.
Yeah, I'm a little tippy. Oh, now you have
he
IBS.
Says he now has IBS.
We're not doing that online. Thank you very much. I hope you have plenty of RTHTP. RTHETP. Where is mine? I have some somewhere.
I've got 3 somewhere.
From back in the day.
Collector's item.
Yeah.
Priceless.
So if you need it back, Charlie, let me know. Marty, yeah, we'll talk about that towards the end of the stream. We are doing that. We are ready to go. All right, game on. All right.
Game on.
Well,
what game?
We'll talk about that at the end of the stream. It's going to be, it should be fun. As long as Marty doesn't get too competitive. Because you know how Marty can be.
Speaking of Marty, can I do a mail call right quick?
Yeah, why don't you do a mail call, then we'll segue into your...
I do have a mail call from Marty is nuts about digging. Sent me a nice card. Says, thank you. Congrats, Paul. Sorry for taking so long. Cheers, Martin. And Digger Dog. Marty, don't worry about it taking. I know how things go. But Marty had done a contest and I won. Is that coming through pretty good, Jonathan?
Ooh, is that George 5?
Get my eyeball.
Granddad?
Yes, George the Fifth,
So that's an oldie.
1931. Nickel, 5-cent piece.
That's nice. That's a nice design.
Yep. And then seaweed coin got to flashing around a toonie that I like. It's from 2012.
And what is on that?
That's Queen Elizabeth on the obverse, and then on the reverse is the HMS Shannon tall ship.
I don't know much about I don't know anything about the Shannon.
I don't either. I'm going to start doing some researching.
All right. Well, that can be another segment.
Yep. Thank you, Marty. Seaweed. Thank you. I appreciate it.
How long did it take for them to get to you?
Actually, I didn't wait too long. I think it was right at 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm in New Hampshire. Marty's in Nova Scotia, so as the crow flies, are not far from each other. But when he sent me something, it took a week, which it was quicker to get Canada Post through whatever mechanisms they do to give it to the United States Post Office. It was quicker that way than it was when I got something from like Colorado or something. So it's funny how the postal services work.
Yes, yeah.
Hi, Starika.
Hello, Starika. Let's see. And
Dave, Northeast Coins.
Yep.
In the northeast part of England.
So I'm waiting on another coin that I won from Marty. So
you want a second coin from Marty?
Uh-huh.
And you're going to keep it a secret?
I don't know. I don't remember. It's a dime, I think. One of the dimes. So I don't remember exactly what year it was. But I'll be looking for that. I've got several pieces of mail that I'm looking for. So
well, that's good.
We'll jump into that.
I don't think I have anything on its way. I have one thing on its way that I bought that I had to.
Well, I've got.
Keep that a secret because it's neat. But
I've got some stuff that we bought too. That's
every so often.
One of the things.
Well, Paul, what are you going to talk about tonight?
All right. How many people knows about a mint being in Charlotte? Well, I've got a story. When I started this mint series, I got a story that I didn't know nothing about. But it all started when a guy, Jonathan, you remember hearing the story of a guy using a 3-pound gold rock as a doorstop?
I do not.
Well, this guy found a 3-pound gold nugget. Basically, he went to sell it, I guess. And because he needed the money, he was a farmer.
Yeah, this is back in the day, right?
This was back in the day. It was early 1800s. I don't remember what year he found that rock, that gold nugget. But the guy he carried it to ripped him a new pocket in his jeans. He stole this coin. probably paid $3 for this 3-pound nugget.
Mm.
Then he took the nugget. The guy that bought the nugget took it and made a fortune off of it.
Oh, that's terrible.
So, yeah. The actual first gold rush in America happened in North Carolina at the Reed Gold Mine. As no mints existed in Charlotte area, miners had to send their gold dust to Philadelphia to be melted and coined. The transportation process was difficult, slow, expensive, and dangerous. Of course, you had train robbers. I'm sure everything went to Philadelphia on a train and come back on a train. So you probably had people stealing everybody else's gold. So there was a guy by the name of, he was a German immigrant. His name was Christopher Beckler. He created his own mint in 1831. And in 1832, he minted the first gold $1 coin. That was the first gold coin of the United States. And in 1836 to 1838, he would mint $770,000 worth of, $700,070 worth of gold coins. Then on March 3rd, 1835, the U.S. Congress approved an act 115 to 60 to establish several branches in the state of North Carolina, and one being in Charlotte, where this guy had started his own mint. So then, naturally, his business kind of fell off to the side. And the one in Charlotte was in Mecklenburg County in the state of North Carolina, for the coinage of gold only. Only the gold was turned into coins. But let's see. Make sure I'm not skipping anything. After the government opened their own mint, that way they could take the gold dust and turn it into gold coins there without having to ship it to Philadelphia. Some of the notable coins that came out of Charlotte, which had the C mint mark. Jonathan, if you'll go to we have the $1 coin. There was two types of those. Back up one, Jonathan. You said, all right, back up one more. Look at the difference between the obverse on both of these coins.
Yes.
You have the Liberty head, and then you have what they called the Indian head.
Right.
So
and the wreath on the reverse looks almost like the flying eagle or the first Indian had sent. That's what I thought when I first saw it.
So that was your first $1 coin. All right. Then they come out with the $2.50 coin. and then they come out with the $5 coin. And if you'll notice, that one is marked O. But if you look under the eagle on this one, you can see the C mint mark.
Yes. Oops.
So, on October 15th, 1835, at the price of $29,800, in 1836, construction on the Charlotte Mint began. It opened for business July 1837. Only raw gold was produced and refined until March 28, 1838. Now, the mint ramp was open till 1861, and then the Confederacy, they closed the mint during the war. The Confederacy used the building for offices and storage, and they never reopened the mint after the war. But in 1931, the building was to be demolished to make room for a post office expansion. Next door, a coalition of private citizens acquired the structure from the U.S. Treasury Department. They relocated the structure just a few miles downtown Charlotte to the historical neighborhood of Eastover on a plot of land. So I guess, Jonathan, they did save the building.
Oh, that's good. Unlike Philadelphia,
And
the first one.
yes, unlike the original Philadelphia Mint. But it was dedicated in 1936, the Mint Museum of Art, the first museum in North Carolina. On display, thousands of items along with a complete collection of gold coins minted at the Charlotte Mint. The museum also includes reference library with over 15,000 volumes and a theater featuring lectures and performances.
Now I think I want to go to Charlotte.
That's kind of a quick overview for our Charlotte Mint, which I had no idea that it even existed. And could you imagine if you had a Charlotte minted gold, even just a $1 gold coin?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And those Beckler gold coins, the predecessors to the Charlotte Mint coins, I imagine those are worth tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars each.
And I couldn't find, you know how it is on the internet. Like I was reading about the Beckler Mint. Well, they said that he run so many years, and then I read that in another story about him said the government mint didn't stay open till only 9 days, but then I read that it stayed open 9 years. Yeah, was that a misprint, or you know?
Right.
And that's why I didn't get into that part, because I don't know the truth.
Right.
What is the truth, you know?
Yep.
And I'm not the one that wants to say one thing and then somebody says, well, wait a minute, this says this. No, I just want to read you, pretty close to facts.
Of course.
All right.
That was great. Now there's another mint down south. Well, there's more than one mint down south, but another mint that's
That was
not
there.
operating anymore.
Correct. That is in my home state of Georgia.
Yeehaw.
That is the Dahlonega mint. Jonathan, not
again?
Dahlonega. Which I have heard it pronounced Dahlonega, but it is actually Dahlonega, Georgia, which is only about 45 minutes away from me. So this mint, let me get my notes here. The Mint Act of 1835, established by the United States Congress on the 3rd of March, established one of the branch at the city of New Orleans. We will talk about the New Orleans Mint. But we also and you can see the picture of the mint there.
Yep. There's that one. The
Dahlonega Mint was a former branch of the United States, built during the Georgia Gold Rush to help miners again get their gold assayed and minted without having to travel to Philadelphia. See, before these mints were made, pretty much all the gold went to Philadelphia and then come back. So to help save the cost of that, they just done it right there at the mint. It was located in Dahlonega, Georgia, in Lumpkin County. Coins produced at the Dahlonega Mint bear, now get this, bared the first D mint mark.
Here's a picture of one.
Yep.
That's not Denver.
Nope, that is not Denver. That is a Dahlonega, Georgia. In 1938, after the 1935 Act, the Dahlonega Mint was established by the government, like I said, to help assay and mint without having to travel to Philadelphia. The Dahlonega Mint was first to bear the D mint mark. Dahlonega minted the $1, the $2.50, the $3, and the $5 coins. And from 1931 until from 1831 to 1861, which again closed for the war. Just a little quick note here. Dahlonega comes from a Cherokee word meaning yellow. But then another note says it could take up to 3 months to get a certified, to get your coins back from Philadelphia. There was $1.7 million in gold deposited. Deposit was sent to Philadelphia. Dahlonega would mint 1.5 million coins worth more than $6 million by the cease of operation in 1861. There again, another mint that's gone by. But this building is still standing, and I believe it's still standing in its original location. This picture, go back to that. This picture right here was after the mint had closed. There is I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it, North Georgia College, which is basically just not even a quarter of a mile away from this building. The people standing in front of this, it's a military college, and these people standing out here are doing their
the drill.
Drills. Exactly.
So it's like cadets from the school. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still a military school?
Yes.
Really?
In fact, that is where the U.S. Army Rangers go to school.
No kidding.
And then they train all over North Georgia. So that's a little bit of information. Also, I don't know if you've ever noticed our state capitol down in Atlanta. We have a gold leaf dome. The gold comes from the Dahlonega area. And also the college has a building that has gold leaf on top of it from the area.
Kidding.
So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I knew about the Dahlonega mint, of course, being raised in Georgia, and just even when I lived in Gainesville, we wasn't but maybe 35, 40 minutes or so from Dahlonega, Georgia. There are two gold mines that you can go to. One I know for sure does tours inside the gold mine, and you can both gold mines. You can do your gold and gem grubbing there too. Also, there are a lot of gold mines that were in around the Lumpkin County area.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, so there was a lot of gold that come out of Georgia.
So that's why you
and then everybody. Yeah, I'm right on the edge of a gold belt. I hadn't found nothing amazing. In fact, I do have, I don't know if y'all can see that. I do have a little bit of gold here.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, I mean, I just think it's interesting that Charlotte and Dahlonega was the ones that first started producing gold coins. All right.
So if Paul starts driving a Ferrari, you know he's found one of those 3-pound gold nuggets down in Georgia.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Can you imagine a 3-pound? Okay, even though it was probably, you know, a simple farmer, he must have known that was a 3-pound nugget of gold, or at least there was gold in there, and it must have had some value.
But he used it as a doorstop.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't either.
Hey, who knows? Well, that was great, Paul. I'm enjoying these stories because little by little you get these little tidbits. And
I forgot to show this, Jonathan.
All right, yeah. Let me.
If you'll solo, yeah.
I think we do this solo layout.
This is what the gold coin looked like from Dahlonega. This is too close. Back off a little bit. It's a $1 gold coin. This is not real. This is a copy. So thought I'd show that to you. I bought that several years ago, but that's what it looked like.
Yeah. That's a pretty coin. Well, that's neat. Well, Paul,
I did have two of them.
Let's jump from
Let's
gold
what?
coins to nickels. Kind
To
of.
nickels. All
Now,
right.
I know you and I were chatting about this. You know, but let's ask in chat. If you saw this coin in your pocket change, would you think it's anything special?
Now, this is a 1944 nickel.
So it's the end of the day. You're taking your money out. You look at it. You say, oh, 1944 nickel. That's neat. Anybody see anything
Marty.
odd about this nickel? 44.
Scott said
silver,
war nickel was 40% silver.
Yeah.
Mark Berg said could be silver. Junk said, where's the mint mark?
Where's the mint mark? That's right. Well, there is no mint mark on this nickel, and that's because this nickel is a counterfeit. And the story that I'm going to tell you about centers around this man. His name is Francis Leroy Henning. Now, Francis Henning lived in Ariel, New Jersey for most of his life. And by most accounts, he was a pretty clever man. By profession, he was a mechanical engineer and worked in that field for some years. But Henning had a sideline, which was counterfeiting money. Now, in the 1930s, during the Great Depression, Henning was arrested for printing and passing counterfeit $5 bills in New Jersey. Now, keep in mind that a $5 bill in the 1930s had the buying power of about $100 today. So the Treasury Department and the Secret Service took counterfeiting threats like that very, very seriously. And Henning was arrested. He was arrested in 1936. He was convicted, and he served 3 years in prison for that counterfeiting crime. He was released from prison in 1939, returned to Ariel, New Jersey, and began working as a mechanical engineer in nearby Philadelphia. And that could have been the end of the story, but it's not, because about 15 years later, in 1954, Henning decided to start a side business. He rented a small building in Ariel and opened a machine shop that he named the Child's Plastic Molded Products Company. And as innocent as that company's name may sound, it was really a front for his next counterfeiting operation, which was to counterfeit U.S. nickels. Now, some may wonder why Henning would want to counterfeit such a small denomination coin. After all, he had counterfeited $5 bills years earlier. And Henning mentioned that he decided to counterfeit nickels for a couple of reasons. In 1953, one nickel had the buying power of 50 cents in today's money. So not a huge amount of money individually, but if you produced enough of these coins and exchanged them undetected, then you could make a decent profit, albeit illegally. So Henning also thought that a coin like a counterfeit nickel would go unnoticed since they wouldn't be easily recognized among the many other legitimate nickels. The coins that had the real buying power back then and the ones that were more scrutinized were the silver coins. So in 1954, Henning began producing hundreds of thousands of counterfeit nickels in his workshop. And his method was to manufacture these counterfeit nickels, roll them in bank wrappers, and exchange them at various local banks for paper money. So Henning was engaged in counterfeiting, and he was engaged in money laundering. So two very serious federal crimes. Well, Mark, I don't know what the guy was thinking. Well, the first run of nickels that Henning made were all dated 1935, like this one, and it's estimated that he exchanged over 80,000 of these coins in banks throughout the Camden, New Jersey area. Now, that's a face value, 80,000 nickels. That's a face value of $4,000 in counterfeit nickels that he exchanged for real bills, right? Back in the 1950s, a new home would have cost around $9,000. So Henning was counterfeiting a sizable sum of money back in the day. Now, however, one teller at one of the banks that Henning exchanged some of the nickel rolls commented to Henning that he thought it was strange because all these nickels were dated 1953. And Henning explained to the teller that he ran a vending machine company, and these were simply the coins that were deposited in the machines. He had nothing to do with it. He was just depositing them. Henning later admitted that this teller's comment made him very nervous. So he began producing nickels with different dates. And the known Henning nickel dates are 1939, 1944, 1946, 1947, and 1953, all Philadelphia mints. So spreading out the dates of the nickels kind of obscured his counterfeiting activity for some time and made him a lot of money had it not been for some knowledgeable coin collectors. New Jersey coin collector Harmon Rogers purchased a roll of nickels from his local bank. He was a coin roll hunter like we are. And the bank where Rogers got these nickels from happened to be one of the banks that Henning deposited the counterfeits in. So Rogers noticed something. He noticed that among the nickels was a 1944 nickel that did not have the telltale mint mark over the dome on Monticello. Evidently, Henning, when making his nickels, either forgot or wasn't aware that the U.S. Mint put large mint marks on the reverse of the war nickels. Rogers also noticed that this nickel, along with some of the other dates that he got from the bank, weighed 5.4 grams, not the standard 5 grams that a nickel is supposed to weigh. So Rogers returned these coins to the bank and explained to the bank manager that he thinks these are counterfeit. And the bank submitted the coins to the Secret Service for investigation. Now, around the same time, Walter Williams, who was another New Jersey coin collector and a coin roll hunter, found some of Henning's counterfeit nickels. In 1944, he found some 46s, he found some 47s, and he sent them, he didn't bring them back to the bank. He sent them directly to the U.S. Mint and said, something's not right. And these coins were all found to be overweight, to be slightly oversized, to be made of the wrong metal alloy, and were therefore declared counterfeit. And as a result of that, the Secret Service issued a counterfeit alert about these nickels to the Camden, New Jersey area banks. And after they did that, more banks notified the Secret Service that, hey, we also have some of these counterfeit nickels. But it seems that many of Henning's nickels were already by that time in circulation. They were quickly spreading throughout the Northeast and the Midwest. So unbeknownst to Francis Henning, the Secret Service was now on the hunt for the counterfeit nickels and the person who was making them. So then jump forward about a year to May of 1955. The Camden, New Jersey Coin Club was holding their monthly meeting, and several of the members had announced beforehand that they had also found examples of these counterfeit nickels and were going to present them at the meeting. 2 Secret Service agents, along with the newspaper reporter, also attended that coin club meeting. And the newspaper reporter wrote a story about the counterfeit nickels, and that the story was soon published in area newspapers. Well, Henning read the newspaper. He read the article. He got scared, and he decided that it was time to leave New Jersey. But first, he wanted to get rid of what evidence he could. So he dumped what he said was 400,000 counterfeit nickels and the dyes that he used to produce them. 400,000 nickels. He dumped them in the Cooper River in Haddonfield, New Jersey. Henning then left town. He left for Baltimore. The Secret Service's trail for the counterfeiter went cold for a few months until August of that year. And that's when the owner of the building, the machine shop that Henning had rented, began the process of cleaning out Henning's workshop because Henning hadn't paid his rent and he couldn't be located. And when the owner went through the building, he found various metalworking machinery. He found 67,000 nickel-sized planchets that Henning had either forgot about or didn't have time to dispose of. And he also found 9 of Henning's counterfeit nickels still in the coin presses. So the owner of the building notified the local police, which in turn notified the Secret Service. And the Secret Service then put out an alert for the arrest of Francis Leroy Henning. Now, Henning was eventually arrested in Cleveland in October of 1955, and he admitted to counterfeiting the nickels, and perhaps hoping to receive a more lenient sentence, Henning led the Secret Service to the spot along the Cooper River where he said he dumped the nickels. And the local police and the Secret Service and a diver from the Philadelphia Harbor Patrol searched the river and eventually recovered 14,000 counterfeit nickels and some of Henning's dies. Okay. Now remember, Henning said he dumped 400,000 nickels in the Cooper River. If that number is correct, then less than 5% of those counterfeit nickels were recovered by the Secret Service. So Henning was tried. He received another 3-year sentence and a $5,000 fine, not only for counterfeiting the nickels, but again for attempting to counterfeit $5 bills while he was living in Cleveland. At his trial, Henning admitted that he actually lost money on each of the nickels that he made. Although he deposited tens of thousands of dollars worth of nickels in area banks, Henning said that the cost for the blanks alone, the planchets alone, was about 3 cents each. So add to that the cost for his machinery and the other production costs and the fact that he disposed of so many of his counterfeits and that 67,000 planchets were confiscated by the Secret Service. Then in the end, Henning said he lost a lot of money in this nickel counterfeiting scheme. By the way, Henning purchased his alloy for his counterfeit nickels from the very same company that the U.S. Mint purchased its coin metal from back in the day. The cheaper alloy that Henning used to make his nickels is called Monel, which is made from 79.1% copper, 20.5% nickel, and 0.4% iron. The judge who sentenced Henning to his 3-year term said to him, "Sir, you've wasted a tremendous talent." And perhaps to add a little bit of insult to injury, the leftover blanks, those 67,000 blanks that were found at his workshop, they were confiscated and they were melted down by the U.S. Mint, which in turn refined them and used them to produce new nickels. Now, a question that modern coin collectors ask is, can you collect Henning nickels today? And the simple answer is yes, you can, but the specific answer is a bit more tricky because, strictly speaking, it is illegal for a U.S. citizen to own any counterfeit U.S. coins that are not marked as such. So that the coin that you showed, Paul, says copy on it. That complies with the law. And that would include a Henning nickel, which isn't marked copy. So it would be illegal in that sense to own a Henning nickel. But that being said, collectors still search for these nickels in coin rolls, and Henning nickels are purchased by collectors. Also, metal detectorists, Charlie Reiser, this means you, metal detectorists today are still searching along the Cooper River, hoping to find some of Henning's nickels that the Treasury Department missed back in 1955. Now, the top third-party grading companies will not slab coins that they believe are counterfeit. So if you were to submit a Henning nickel to them, you would pay the grading fees, and they would send you the coin back in a plastic bag marked as counterfeit, like this gold coin was. I also found one post online about a grading company that did grade a collector's Henning nickels. In fact, they listed on the label that these are counterfeit, but that they are Henning issues. I thought that was interesting. And I did listings on eBay for Henning nickels, and whether these are truly Henning nickels is up to the buyer, I suppose. And I wonder if selling these on eBay is a violation of their policy. And I think it would be, because they're counterfeit. You're not supposed to sell those kinds of coins on eBay. So if you ever find a Henning nickel in your pocket change, Paul, or when coin roll hunting, or just going through your collection, then it might be worth holding on to, because they've sold at between $100 and $200 a piece. Now, to find one, you'd want to look at the known dates and to check the weight of the coins. Again, the known dates are 1939, 1944, 1946, 1947, and 1953. So you'd want to look at the dates. You'd want to look at the weight. Most Henning nickels weigh 5.4 grams, but some have been reported to be underweight, 4.8 grams. Also, you would want to look at the leg of the R in pluribus, because Henning used different obverse dies for the different dates, but his reverse die was pretty much the same on all of them. And if you look at the leg of the R in pluribus, some of Henning's nickels have a defect in the reverse die where there's a loop in the bottom of the R, in the leg of the R. Some examples of his 1939 and 1944 nickels have a distinct die crack extending from the dome of Monticello up to the US and pluribus. That's another way to identify one. And according to most collectors, the 1944 date seems to be the most common, but maybe that's because it's so easily identifiable because of that missing mint mark. So remember that when it comes to collecting a Henning nickel, you are collecting both the coin and a very interesting story, but also remember that legally speaking, you own a counterfeit, and discretion may be the best practice. And that is the story of the Henning nickels. And when Paul and I, before the stream, Paul and I were talking about it, I said, Paul, I hope I don't end up cracking up, because this guy was pretty darn smart. Okay, you can't be a mechanical engineer and be a dummy. That being said, he did some pretty boneheaded things. And I'm just reading this, I'm researching this and going, what is this guy thinking?
Oh,
so
man.
Anyway, that's the story of the Henning nickel. So if you're doing a coin roll hunt, or if you're looking in your pocket change, or if you just happen to have a whole bunch of nickels, it would be worth going through those dates: 39, 44, 46, 47, and 53. Weigh them. Look at the reverse. Yep. Because if you have something, you don't just have a what you think is a war nickel or what you think is an early Jefferson nickel. You have a Henning counterfeit. And I personally, even though it's illegal, it seems strictly to have them. I think it would be really neat to have one in my collection. But I suppose if I did have one, I would immediately turn to the Secret Service. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, Deej, every now and then we're going to be on Jonathan's channel. So just give him some views and stuff. And you folks jump in here, Jonathan.
Yeah, I see Frank. Hi, Coin Dragon.
Coin Dragon. Hoosier's here. Deej.
FLX Detectorist. Hello there.
FLX Detectorist. I don't know if we said hello to Coin Dragon. Hello.
Yeah, Paul and I were saying that the streaming seemed to work better when he did it, when he's on his phone, because he has a nice phone, nice camera, nice audio. But he's shaking his head no, but it's probably better than mine. So we started doing it on mine. We'll maybe go back and forth, but we might go on Paul's more. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see.
Hello, Janet Chapman.
Scott says
JBP hobbyist.
Scott asked, how much are the Hennings worth compared to a real nickel with some percentage of silver in it? I think a war nickel, well, I mean, any coin as far as its spot value versus its numismatic value, I think a decent average circulated, let's put it that way, problem-free war nickel. If you went to a coin show, I don't know, what do you think in the chat? $2-3 maybe? Maybe a smidge more if it's a little nicer condition. But the Henning nickels that I've seen, if you have one, yeah, you're lucky to get one for $100. You're probably looking at $200. But then, there too is the legitimacy of actually being able to legally purchase one, because if you have one in your possession, you're supposed to, as far my understanding of the law with regards to counterfeit coinage, if it's not marked copy or replica or something like that, you're supposed to turn it into your local authorities. I don't know if that quite answers your question.
Coin Dragon, I'm American Woodland Relics. if that answers your question.
And
Thank you,
JBP, I
Scott.
would not tell them if I found one. I think most people would agree with you. Here's my take. I think it would be interesting as a coin collector to have one to study and to have a piece of that history.
Mm-hmm.
As a good citizen, I want to respect the law, but
and get caught with it.
Okay, well, there's the other question though: is the FBI or the Treasury, or the Feds, the Secret Service, are they going to be coming on your door saying, "I think you have a Henning nickel"? I think they have bigger fish to fry. I think they'd be spending time looking at people who are selling them or people who are importing them from China or wherever. But I mean, the law is the law, and you have to abide by it. That's right, Frank. I know nothing. Then we'd have to throw it back in the river and get it later. But I wonder what if somebody were fortunate enough to go to the Cooper River in New Jersey, in Haddonfield, New Jersey, and find them on the shore. I'm going to guess that they would be absolutely corroded. So it's interesting that people are looking for them, but what would these pennies that are counterstamped that are popping up all over the world, isn't defacing U.S. currency a criminal act? I don't think it's. I think if you're defacing it to make it higher in value, it's a criminal act. So to pass off something as something different. But I think if you counterstamp it, you put a little design on it. I don't believe that's against U.S. law. But I'm not a lawyer.
Deej is wanting to know the years of the counterfeits.
The known Henning counterfeits are 1939, 1944, 1946, 1947, and 1953. And the most common one is the 44. And the theory is that's because people have seen more of them because it's obvious that there isn't a P mint mark or there isn't any mint mark over the dome.
Yes, Deej, the 44 is part silver, but I don't think the Henning has a drop of silver in it.
No. No. So Marty asked, again, I'm not a lawyer. If I sent you a counterfeit toonie, is it legal to own? It's not American. I don't think there'd be any issue with my owning an illegal Canadian coin. I think it's Americans owning American coins. And I think it's more so selling it. But you're really not supposed to have it anyway.
Hoosier said, if you have a Henning nickel and worried about possessing it, you can drop it in my backyard.
And any gold that you may have, Hoosier's good. Please put it in airtight. Yes, you'd want to do that, definitely. No, really. I mean, in all practicality, there are Hennings out there in collections. I would think the study of them provides a value to the hobby, and I can understand PCGS, NGC, Annex not wanting to slab them, but I can't imagine that there would be an issue owning a Henning. Selling it, maybe.
And if you sent one to be graded, you would think that they would turn it into the government.
But they don't. I mean, we saw in the presentation, they put it in basically a flip, like a Mylar flip, and just say counterfeit or, suspected counterfeit or something along those lines. So they put the onus on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They still charge you the fee. Of course they're going to charge you the fee. They're not stupid. I don't know. Anyway, I thought, Dave hunts 2-pound coins. And I didn't realize this. There are a lot of counterfeit 2-pound. Well, a lot. There are counterfeit 2.2-pound coins in Great Britain. There are counterfeit toonies. There's a whole nother story there. Maybe Marty could talk about that sometime. So I'm sure there are counterfeits in most societies.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I was going to say something, but it's another one of my stories, so I'll hold it for that story. And speaking of Nickels, if you're not doing anything tomorrow at 5:30, Marty, is that the time? Marty and Polly Nickels and I are engaging in a coin roll hunt against Marty's Nuts About Digging, Seaweed Coins, and BH Ringer. So it's Team USA versus Team Canada. And we have a very basic set of rules to see who can find the oldest nickels, and you get so many points for finding the special nickels and any foreign coins and things like that. And we're going to see who can find more of these types of coins and therefore get more points. Will it be Team USA or Team Canada? Because it seems like when Marty does his nickel hunts, he gets quite a few American nickels.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fair to say when we've done nickel hunts in America, on occasion you get a Canadian, but I don't think so. I think the machines usually just kick them out. So I don't know if we're going to find a lot of Canadians. So the scoring could be skewed against the Americans, but we've never backed down from a challenge. Yep, Brad's going to be there. Yeah, so Brad and Polly Nickels and I are Team USA this time.
Mark Berg says, "Go Team Canada." I mean, Team America.
Oh, Mark's a turncoat.
Mm.
No, it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be interesting to see what we have. And yeah, after this Henning story, you better believe I'm going to start looking at the 39s, the 44s, the 46s, the 47s, and the 53s. I'm going to burn that into my brain. Imagine finding one of those. That would just be crazy.
Yep, that would be. I'd probably get a sick stomach feeling. Now what do I do with it?
Put it in the collection.
But like you said, it'd be worth keeping, and it is a part of American history.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And it'd be great to have one, to be able to study it, that sort of thing. I think it would be. But in case any Secret Service agents are watching, or anybody from the Treasury, I do not own one.
I do not own one.
That Canadian guy, Marty's Nuts About Digging, he has a whole bunch of them, though. So
made its way
call
to
the
Nova
RCMP
Scotia
and have them go get them. He hides them underneath his dog dish. Yeah, exactly, Charlie. Discretion's a better part of valor. So that's probably true of most things in life, isn't it? All right. Well, let's see, Paul. We thought at the beginning
we thought
2 stories. We'd probably be on for half an hour, and but now we're pushing an hour here. I think it's just the
I'm ignoring the door knocks, Mark. Yeah, well, it went real well tonight, even though I'm still having the green screen issues on my phone. But y'all can see me. I don't know exactly what's going on. There's one I missed, FLX. Welcome, John. Appreciate you coming in.
That's right. That's right.
Like I said, Jonathan's going to do some on streaming on his channel, and I'm going to do some on mine. Just kind of spread the views out between the two of us, and we appreciate everybody coming in. Mm-hmm. We really do. and everybody has been chatting. My chat counter has reached 284 comments that y'all have made tonight. Hey, we appreciate everybody joining in chat and listening to our stories. They keep rising. I'm up to 287. But
now, those who know me know I like researching things. I like delving through the books and delving through on the internet. And I think it's fair to say Paul enjoys it too. You find some really interesting things, and these mint stories are really great. So we're going to continue with it, and hopefully,
I think I've got I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more mints to talk about. I think that's correct. Next one will be the New Orleans. So that ought to be interesting.
The big O.
I've got to do more research on it.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of information about the New Orleans Mint. Coin Dragon, y'all taking off like stopping the stream? Well, I mean, if people want to chat, well, I have nowhere to go.
I don't have nowhere to go. In fact, I'm
in
home
my little
alone.
office here, comfy. So,
Mark, you better share. Mark said, in honor of Paul's, I think in Paul's honor, I will have some biscuits and gravy for late night dinner. Sound good, Mark. That is a plan.
Dave, you take care. Thanks for popping in and staying with us, and get to sleep. I don't know if you're a night owl, but you take care and keep searching for those interesting 2Ps.
Thank you, John. FLX. We try to make it interesting for y'all. We try to bring some history. Everything we bring is history, but some interesting stories that you might not have heard about. And it's like I said before, I didn't know nothing about the Charlotte Mint until I started researching all this. And it's fascinating.
I know. I want to go to Charlotte now. I've always wanted to go to Dahlonega. But I didn't realize not only is the original building still there, but they have all the gold coins on display. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. I'm not real. It's been a long time since I've been in the Dahlonega Museum.
How'd you pronounce it?
Of course, that Dahlonega.
You sure? Let's rewind this.
It ain't Dahlonega. A Georgia boy will not make that mistake.
Dahlonega. The running joke here is Paul and I asked him once, and Miss Belinda was in the background, and I said, "Hey, Paul, you live in northeastern Georgia. Have you ever been to Dahlonega?" And
Belinda Vaught come up out of her chair and come through and whoop him. She got a big kick out of that.
And are you talking about Talladega? Yeah, exactly, Frank. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dahlonega Nights.
Yeah.
Ricky Bobby.
But that was when I heard Jonathan say that, I looked at Belinda and it was like she corrected him in a heartbeat.
Yes,
you thought he was a school teacher.
This Yankee got his hands slapped by a Southern lady.
Oh wow!
She did not like that.
She did not like
What'd y'all
Johnson.
say?
What y'all?
That just ain't sitting right.
Did you eat yet?
Got some buttermilk biscuits and gravy. Oh boy. Scott has something for you, Paul.
I see that. People butcher the towns all the time, and it's easily done. It's a lot of our rivers are named after the Native Americans.
Right.
We have the Chattahoochee, the Chestatee, the Ocmulgee. Of course, I can't say that one right. But it's just
I put
where we live.
Yeah, there's 2 New Hampshire words. Most people who don't live in New England wouldn't they'd mangle those.
Now, in Maine, I can say the Piscataquis River.
Piscataquis. The Piscataqua.
And is that the one they're on now?
What's that?
They're on a different river now. Dennis and all the Maine.
Oh, no, I don't think they're on that. Not on the Piscataqua. No, that's the one. That's the one that runs through Portsmouth, not Portsmouth.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Piscataway.
that's Nashua and Winnipesaukee.
Hmm.
But yeah, you grew up in my case, you grew up in New Hampshire, and those just roll off the tongue because you've heard them so many times. But I'm sure anywhere you go, there are names, whether it's, well, even in England, there are town names that.
Oh yeah.
They're not pronounced the way they're spelled.
No.
And they came over here. All right. Anyway, Paul, I think it's 1 hour and 7 minutes. Unless somebody has something they want to share in chat, we'll probably sign off for the night. But this was fun. And
it was fun.
Either next week or the week after, we'll see how things go. We'll have another one of these. It'll be on Paul's channel, unless there are major technical difficulties on that side. But there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. Another New Orleans and another coin story.
Yep. What kind of a shout out to Aldrin, Don, Shelley, and Bobby. Get over there, and they're going to be releasing some more info, I think, here soon. And about the Dig It Dude, the gathering. And I heard a little birdie tell me something that they may get to go. So y'all stay tuned, find out. As far as we know, we still got the plans to go. In fact, we are waiting. The one thing I am waiting on is our shirts that we ordered.
Oh, that's good. I'm about like 50-50. I've got to figure some things out because we have a child going to college next year and daughter getting married next year. So we got to think about those sorts of things.
Yep.
Charlie,
and all the proceeds. Yeah. And all the proceeds are going to good cause. I don't remember everything what's going to where, but going to a good cause.
Yes.
And I think Aldrin, Dawn and Shelley and Bobby has put together a good event.
And if you
it's going to
don't
be fun.
know, and I hope I'm getting this right, if I remember my Revolutionary War history, the Battle of Monmouth in New Jersey was fought when the British were evacuating Philadelphia, but they still held New York City. So they were they were carrying their troops and their weaponry through central New Jersey. And George Washington and the Continental Army wanted to cut them off. And the first echelon was the troops. They could move quickly, so they were able to make it out of there. But Washington wanted to attack the wagon trains and the cannons and things like that too, because by that point the French were involved in the Revolutionary War and things were kind of beginning to turn in our favor. And anyway, the big battle there was the Battle of Monmouth, and the metal detecting that's happening is not on the Battle of Monmouth site. That's a national park, but it's on a field next to it, a private field. Is that correct, Paul?
It is. If it's not adjacent to it, it's really, really close to it. And that was just me thinking, looking at the maps and stuff, and little hints that Audra and them have been dropping. I love trying to pick up on stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
so it's in the area.
It's right there in the area.
And again, if I remember, so the first echelon made it through unharassed. Washington attacked the rear guard. And when that happened, the first echelon turned around to reinforce so anyway, even if it's not directly on the battlefield, you figure there was so much movement going on there. And then there was retreat on the American side, and Washington came and said, get back there. And so there must have been so much I'm not a historian in that sense, but there must have been so much movement going around in that area that if there's an area adjacent to it, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something really interesting there with musket balls or whatever you're going to find. So,
Possibly
so as far as an opportunity, what a great opportunity to detect a site that supposedly has not been detected.
It's going to be fun.
And if I'm wrong, you can eviscerate me later. No, correct me. Don't eviscerate me. Correct me. But yeah, it's what a great opportunity.
Sure is. And I look at it, if I don't find nothing, hanging out with the coolest YouTubers they are on YouTube, our metal detecting community, that's going to be worth the whole trip.
Yes.
For us. So
just don't get chiggers in your beard, Paul, okay?
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna buy me some Skin So Soft. I'll smell like the Skin So Soft factory.
Just get some saran wrap and wrap your beard up. Or braid it. You could braid your beard. No, not happening. Not happening.
Not happening.
Oh boy.
Charlie, let the breeze.
New Jersey in August will be reminiscent of southern Georgia in summer. Oh boy. So detect in your boxer shorts. Although North Jersey detector is going to be there, so he'll probably be pantsless detecting, knowing him. Even though it's a family event. Charlie, did I have that bit of New Jersey history right? I hope I did. You would know, being a New Jersey boy. Look what Deej said.
I see that. I have thought about it, Deej.
It's not a bad idea.
But I've gone 3 years, or a little over 3 years, without even shaving it. or trim. I've trimmed it up. I hadn't trimmed it short. So,
all right, after the stream, go on American Woodland Relics channel. Go look at the earlier videos where Paul does not have a beard. He just has a mustache. And I said to Paul, I watched and thought, who the heck is that?
And I think the name of that video is A New Look. So if you won't see me without a beard, yeah, go to that video.
Yeah.
Every now and then I get a wild hair and shave it off, but I've been pretty head on with this.
Yeah.
I like it. Blenda loves it. She loves it. So,
well, look at it this way. It's gonna cool things down underneath. It'll provide some shade, right?
Well, it acts like a radiator. It acts like a radiator. A radiator. I mean, it gets wet and we get a good cool breeze blowing, or a breeze. It don't have to be cool. No, not even close to Dan Hurd. That man has got a serious beard.
Is he like ZZ Top beard?
Not quite, but he's getting there. I love watching Dan Hurd. He's hilarious. Yes, Deej, I keep it soft. So
the chinchilla beard. Oh boy. Well, all right, folks. Thanks for joining us. Always great seeing you. Always great chatting with you. And tune in next week. This guy's channel, or the week after. Paul usually puts on Facebook if we're streaming or not. And I don't want to speak for Paul, but every 2 weeks I'm thinking maybe we'll be doing this.
And if I feel like streaming in between those 2 weeks, like we did last week, I'll let you know. Yep. I mean, excuse me. We had fun last week, just hanging out with chat, nothing playing, just chilling and laughing with everybody. And we had a good time.
Good.
So
good. All right, everybody. Thank you. And Paul, we'll chat afterwards. Have a great night. Be good, be safe, and we'll see you all next time, I hope. Bye.
And if you're out there hunting, find something good.